Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Sky News has discovered that dealers in prescription medicines are using Facebook as their marketplace.
Yeah, but despite this being against the internet giant's own rules, we found that the social media site was slow to take down the offending profiles. Sky's technology correspondent Tom Cheshire has the story.
In plain sight and just a friend request away, a Sky News investigation has uncovered huge numbers of addictive prescription drugs being illegally offered for sale on Facebook.
I have been on Facebook for about 3 to 4 years. It's easier for me to have customers.
And the US social media giant has been refusing to remove accounts, even when reported by users.
Well, the internet's all about convenience, and this couldn't be easier. Once you know where to look, you can plug into a network of these dealers online. There's a message out the blue, a little bit of a chat, and we've stopped short of buying drugs, but if we hadn't, they'd be in the post right now.
Dealers post a photo of their stock, often with a handwritten note with the date and their name on it. Transactions are carried out in private messages. We found powerful tranquilizers, sedatives and opioids being offered on the social network. Alongside Valium and Xanax, pregabalin is relatively new to the scene, but it's addictive and it's already been linked to a number of deaths in the UK. Some dealers also offered more traditional recreational drugs for sale, including ketamine, cannabis and MDMA. Selling drugs without a prescription isn't merely a question of legality. It has the potential for serious harm.
People have committed suicide as the ultimate resort to try to get off, because these are fiercely addictive once you start taking them.
The Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, or MHRA for short, is used to seizing knockoff steroids and Viagra, but sedatives are something new.
The sleeping pills and the antidepressants are a lot more dangerous, they're a lot more addictive, in fact they are highly addictive. That's the reason they're prescription only, so that changes the game completely.
We shared our investigation with the MHRA. We also reported more than a dozen drug dealing accounts to Facebook. They refused to remove every single one of them, saying, "We've looked over the profile you reported, and although it doesn't go against any of our specific community standards, we understand that the profile or something the person shared may still be offensive to you. Let's look at those specific community standards. We prohibit any attempts by unauthorized dealers to purchase, sell or trade prescription drugs, marijuana, firearms or ammunition." We got in touch with the Facebook press office to ask why the dealers' accounts apparently didn't breach their standards, even though they broke British law. Soon after we emailed, those accounts did turn out to violate those community standards after all, and they were quietly removed. Facebook refused our request for an interview. Later, they gave us this statement. "Buying, selling or trading prescription drugs isn't allowed on Facebook, and we urge people to use our reporting tools if they come across this kind of activity, so we can investigate and take swift action. We're grateful to Sky News for flagging this content to us and have removed the pages for breaking our standards." In the meantime, dealers act with impunity. I spoke with one over the phone.
I use Facebook because it's easier for me to have customers.
Yeah.
I can supply.
Have you ever been in trouble with Facebook?
No.
Facebook relies on its 2 billion users to report violations, whether that's drugs, extremism or abuse. Even when they do, plenty still falls through the gaps. Tom Cheshire, Sky News.
Well, let's speak to David Leavesley. Now, he's a social media editor for the iPaper, and he also used to work for Facebook, and he joins us now from our central London studio. Good afternoon, David. And the first thing I have to really ask you is that when you were at Facebook, was this something you were aware of?
No, it wasn't something that came up particularly with our team, but moderation as a whole has definitely become a larger topic since I was at Facebook, where I think it was just kind of a part of the furniture of how the company works. But I think what people are beginning to realise now is that Facebook is a place where there are 2 billion people, and there's not been a huge amount of legislation or communication between international governments and a place where 2 billion people are. And at that stage, how is anybody supposed to govern that many people and try and make sure that they don't do things that they're doing in the real world as well? For example, selling drugs.
Well, this is something that Facebook and indeed other social media sites really need to look into then, isn't it? I mean, if you look at potentially just the inability, if you like, of Facebook of getting back to Tom and his team, or indeed how slow they were to actually put down those profiles. Only after Sky News got in touch with them and said, look, this is Sky News, we're seeing this illegal activity. It was only then when these profiles were taken down. It's quite worrying, isn't it?
It's worrying, but also I think Facebook is in a very difficult situation. The internet as a whole just hasn't been given the level of control or legislation that it should have had by the time it was created. I mean, it's like the oceans in the 16th and 17th century. You had seas for years and years and years, and only then did they start actually trying to figure out what people could do on them. You know, Facebook is a huge company. It employs as many people as it can. But when you only have small teams of people who have to look at thousands of violations, whether they be video or photo or narcotic, they're going to end up skipping a couple of things if they don't look particularly brazen. And it's amazing that places like Sky News can flag those up when they might slip through. But when you're relying on a small team of people to do these things, there need to be larger conversations with governments and people to make sure that there is vigilance in situations like this cropping up.
Facebook is an independent commercial company. It's up to Facebook. If it can't handle the scale at which people are using Facebook and what's going on Facebook, then they need to address that themselves. This isn't something for government to get involved with here necessarily. Illegal activity is going on Facebook, and they are the ones that need to moderate that and make sure it doesn't go on.
That's definitely true, and Facebook is not always great at immediate accountability when they realise that something is going on there. But Facebook is a place where people are allowed to talk and communicate and send messages to each other, and just like in the real world, people are going to end up doing things like this. And at the end of the day, Facebook can only legislate as much as it can. It should probably hire more moderators that are specialised in being able to deal with trades like this. But Facebook does not have a police force. Facebook does not have a certain degree of control over these kind of things. There has to be some sort of harmonious arrangement with organisations that can control citizens, not control, but regulate citizens' behaviour, as well as Facebook doing more. Yeah,
I'm quite surprised to hear you say this. So the moderation teams at Facebook, they aren't very big. Is that what you're saying?
From my experience, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're trying to deal with huge amounts of people, again, 2 billion people using Facebook, even if they have several hundred people working for their staff, even if they have dozens of people, no number is ever really going to be enough. You're trying to deal with thousands of infractions on that website every single moment. There are people dealing with, I don't know, 2,000 reported posts every minute. How do you make sure that... I mean, again, I think this is one of the reasons why it was amazing that Sky News was able to intervene. It allows you to be able to flag things that might look slightly less extreme than somebody posting a very graphic video, which immediately a moderator might be able to flag.
OK, I'm David Leavesley, former employee of Facebook. Thanks very much.
Thank you.